Oh my goodness gracious. Oh me, oh my. What year is it? What day is it? What time is it? It's time for Brethren Around episode 53. Is that fact check?
Sounds
Is it?
We're a little over the 50 mark. Congratulations to all of us. We made it. Oh, we made it. And before we started recording, we'll talk about who we all are here in a minute and who's here, who's not. We talked about Winamp and Winamp skins and our favorite Winamp skins. My favorite. Do you guys remember in the late 90s, there was an infatuation with like UFO aliens? Like the green bubble-headed, like big fly-eyed, like warpy. That's every amateur grade Winamp skin was made out of that like weird bubbly Web 2.0, like whatever you want to call it.
The alien xenomorph.
Yeah, it's like just bad. It's not even a good alien. Mm-hmm. It's like just kind of a janky dollar store.
It was.
Oh, that's my favorite. That because you could tell someone was legit, or if for some reason in their banner for whatever they made, they had like a video game character, and then they had like clouds around it for some reason, like a lot of like dank, clouds. Like lightning bolts, weird like abstract
character.
Oh, yeah, my DeviantArt do not steal original character.
Final Fantasy VII era post.
Yeah, but they took Cloud and they made his hair green, and they called it another character. His name was like Anarchy or something. Like they would name it something extreme.
Yeah.
His name was like Gruff Switchblade. My original character.
Oh, dude.
Like they posted on their GeoCities website. Anyway, my name's Wes Gardner, Comedy Hobo. Joining me this week is Mr. Marco Flores, Nerd in the Bay.
Yo. I'm a Nicholas Supermark.
Yeah. And we got Mr. Todd EVF. No webcam. His webcam decided to kind of crash and burn.
We had a good run. It was a 10-year-old webcam, so I mean it's bound to happen.
That's a pretty good run.
Yeah,
that is.
Could have been worse. How dare this technology fail me? Shakes fist.
Yeah.
Johnny Gargano title run. It was like 800 days or something like that.
Outrageous.
Like 1,000 or something.
Yeah. Just they stopped counting after a while. They're like, oh yeah, no, he's still got it. It was last we checked. So we just came off WrestleMania weekend, and I guess WrestleMania now kind of feels like the season finale. You know, it's like kind of where all these storylines come to a head. Some of them that were about a year in the making, some of them that were made a week and a half before WrestleMania. But whatever. It feels like that's where it is. And then because Monday, the Raw after WrestleMania is like the reset button. It's like, okay, bloop, shaking stuff up. And hell, even next week, they're doing the Superstar Shakeup, which is where they're drafting and doing whatever. They're trading people off. So overall, what did you guys think of WrestleMania? What is it, 34?
Yeah.
34? Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of good matches going on, but the show went way too fucking long.
Yeah. I was watching it. I was using my free month finally.
Free 99.
Yeah, good price.
So now I'm soaking up all the wrestling I can for this. So, it was a balance between a very long show and and that crowd not being maybe I would have to give like leeway. Like, okay, we made the show was long, but that crowd wasn't as amped up as previous crowds at the same time. But it's like, yeah, it's a give and take. So, but it was like, yeah, they didn't give there much for the AJ Nakamura match as far as I was expecting.
Yeah. Yeah, and I thought it was fine. Like, I thought it was one of the better recent WrestleManias.
Mm-hmm.
Because
absolutely.
There have been some flops lately. But yeah, overall, the whole show, everyone kind of delivered. And I think if we go around the room and do what we think the best match, I'm curious because I know what mine is for sure, 100%. But I have a feeling that you guys might agree or pick the same one, which before the show, kind of a small spoiler, before the show, we would not have even come close to saying that would have been match of WrestleMania. You know,
I was actually majority wrong on my predictions. I don't know about you guys.
I really didn't do a lot of predictions. I was like, let's just kind of see what happens.
Yeah.
I was surprised Charlotte retained.
Yeah, shit, yeah.
That was the one. I was surprised. I was surprised Nakamura lost. I was surprised Brock won. Who else? Like the majority of the big matches, I was surprised. Like, oh wait, because I was already hearing the reports of like, oh yeah, you know, Nakamura's winning, you know, Asuka's gonna win, and all that stuff. But I guess they threw out like red herrings or like, you know, just fake news.
Yeah, right. And Brock signed him with UFC, and you're like, oh well, he's done. Yeah. Like, you know, he's leaving done again. So, but no, guess.
Well, the story coming out is the finish was changed mid-match because of the crowd reaction. So,
like he was trying to get it back.
Well, yeah, to kind of be like, all right, the crowd isn't behind Roman, so let's kind of do the other thing, you know?
Yeah,
and that's possible.
It's weird. They should have started the whole Roman's upset at Brock Lesnar for never being there thing like 10 months ago.
Yeah,
and they should have really drawn it out, like really, where Roman refused to wrestle unless Brock shows up or something. But you know, we've talked about Roman Reigns before. He should just embrace that shit, and he should become smart Mark heel of the century. You know, he would have been like, you know what? I'm going to wrestle every match until Brock Lesnar shows up, because I know how much you guys hate to see me, and it's blame Brock Lesnar. You could be relieved of my presence, but Brock decides not to show up. Like,
yeah,
really play on that emotion.
Yeah, so now, I probably agree with you. So, like, they just kind of started like out of nowhere, and then now they're at the situation where they have a scenario of Roman, like, you never beaten Brock actually. So like this may be a cloud hanging over, like kind of like how John Cena had like that bad year and then
with The Rock, and then redeems himself and.
That Roman had now. So like, maybe Roman, Saudi Arabia, but probably not. But they have that kind of a story going.
Yeah, I think Roman's probably.
You haven't been able to beat Brock, so.
That's true. I think Roman's going to win at Saudi Arabia because I don't think Saudi Arabia is filled with a bunch of fucking cynical jerks like that just have the internet all the. You know what I mean? Like we're not the same crowd. Yeah. We're not a bunch of smart marks in Saudi Arabia. There's probably some, but like they're less likely to check dirtcheat.net or whatever. You know what I mean? Like they don't care that much. They're just excited to see the show, which is that the whole Saudi Arabia thing's weird as hell to me. But
it is.
But I get it. The same reason why Jinder Mahal won. Money's money, business is business. Oddly enough, my match of all of WrestleMania was Ronda Rousey. I was surprised with that one. Genius. Stephanie played the best bullshit heel. Like, oh my god, like chicken shit, just pure amazing. And I was like, oh, this is.
I was like, it's so good, yeah.
And then the intergender tease of like, they nailed it. Like Rhonda had good timing, and of course she's an incredible athlete, but like her adaptation into hitting her marks at the right time. Like really knowing where to look, what camera was on, like a lot of that. And I was telling my wife at the time because we were watching it, and I was like, Rhonda's better than I think anyone would have given her credit for, because you could tell she's watched it since she was growing up. Because she even knew. It was funny, even the ring presence type of stuff. Like she would cut some of the corners, and she would like. If she was impersonating a wrestler, she did a hell of a good job at it. But I think it's going to be a more natural fit for her than what people let on. Like, it's not. It's kind of the reverse CM Punk, where now he comes from pro wrestling and he doesn't quite fit in UFC. I think Rhonda's going to slide right in and she's going to adapt. She's going to be a more charismatic version of Basler, I think. I mean, that's kind of what I like. The one that you would want to put on the box of the cereal, or I'm gonna put that put her on the Today Show. Like, of course, she's your charismatic. She'll be in movies. I mean, it is what it is. Yeah. But yeah, it's totally stunned me. That whole match, I was like, this is way better than it has any right to be. And
I will completely agree with you on that sentiment of it was better than it should have been. Yeah. Taking, the two big marquee matches, Charlotte and Asuka, and AJ and Nakamura off the table, my match would have been, it wasn't even on the main show. It was fucking Mustafa Ali and Cedric Alexander. I mean, they put on a hell of a performance.
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, they were good.
And I've never praised a cruiserweight match on a pay-per-view. And I was blown the fuck away.
Yeah, they've always been kind of like show ponies.
Yeah.
But not in the good way, right? It was more like, we have the little guys. Aren't they great? All right, now on to the real wrestling. And then, they would like do that. But no, I totally agree with you. My favorite part, I was going to mention this a few episodes ago, because I can't remember what pay-per-view it was, but WrestleMania did it as well, is there's so much dumb shit before the show. And like, there was a pre-show.
Yeah.
There was a pre-show. There was a kickoff. So what's so great is, whenever it does the big swoop and like Snickers and KFC present blah, blah, blah. In my mind, and it makes me laugh every time, it's like, now it's time for your Mountain Dew, Snickers, KFC, Kentucky Gold Fried Chicken pre-show, main event of the evening. Like, it's like, who gives a shit? It's the pre-show, like...
I may have been drinking whiskey the entire show. And when they would show this title match is coming out, I would read it as it showed on the screen. So it'd be like the Rocket League Rocket League Snickers SmackDown. Was it the Rocket League SmackDown Live Snickers Women's Championship match? And I was just like, I'm excited about this championship.
Great. Have it written on the belt. Just everywhere. This is the Rocket League Women's Championship, and this one's the Snickers Women's Championship. Now everyone can have a belt.
Yeah.
But yeah, their business card's like a giant index card for all the dumb shit they have to put on there. But that announcer guy, it just makes me laugh because he's trying to get people so excited, and he's like, it's time for your... Even the fact that there's a pre-show main event of the evening, that just makes me laugh. But then he added all the other stuff in front of it, and it's like, all right. I guess this is something to be excited about.
One gripe I do have, since we're talking pre-show, was during the Cruiserweight match, where they decided to, like, you thought you were going to, like, a replay on like, a cool spot they just did.
Oh, no.
Nope, it was the Rhonda Rousey promo. And I'm
3.5 minute long video package in the middle of maybe a 7 or 8 minute long match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh.
And you're just like, what the fuck are you doing, Dunn?
Yeah, I think I know what they were, because the pre-show's free. And I think the kickoff show they had on USA. So, in theory, they're using that to promote WrestleMania to hope that you get the buy-in on the network and all that shit. Mm-hmm. But different time, different place. You know what I mean? Like, the fact that it's 3 minutes in the middle of your pre-show main event of the evening is stupid. Like, do it in between it. Or at least have the common courtesy to do a picture-in-picture. Because I've noticed, because I have PlayStation View. I don't do DirecTV or, like, local cable. But on PlayStation View on SmackDown, occasionally they will do picture-in-picture during a commercial break. So I don't know if that's just a PlayStation thing, or I don't know if that's like a USA thing, to where they'll show the SmackDown logo and like commercials, but then you'll see the match still happening in the lower like part of the screen. So I don't know how that works. That might just be a PlayStation View thing, but because they have to show their own ads. Like Sony has ads that go on PlayStation View, so they override local ads. So that might be something there, but I thought that would be a good idea anyway, because you know how for a long time they were trying to push the tablet stuff, where it's like, oh, watch during the commercial break, and you should be able to see it on your tablet, and they never actually ever did that. They said they did, but they did it for like 3 weeks and then just stopped.
They did.
Yeah, right. It barely lasted that long. But yeah, just very. I mean, WrestleMania was a solid show. It was funny because for as long as that freaking pay-per-view was, some of the matches got cut way too short. Like, I would argue, one, I thought the Brock-Roman match was going to be a flop anyway. Just because don't put them on last. Like, I know what you're trying to do, but don't do it. Like, make them say that. Honest to God, Charlotte versus Asuka should have closed WrestleMania. Like,
absolutely.
That would have been the banger, right? But yeah, that match was kind of weird. I actually really enjoyed the Shinsuke AJ match, but I feel like they got cut like 7 minutes because I was expecting, because what I was telling my wife is I was like, okay, I'll get real inside baseball on you. And, you know, God bless her. She's real patient with me about the dumb wrestling shit. But I'm like, I'm wondering what type of match they're going to have. Like, before it started, I was like, are they going to have a WWE style match? Or are they going to try to do a little bit more of the strong style New Japan stuff? But as it started, they started doing a King's Road match. Because what it was is a very slow start, right? And they're feeling each other out and all this stuff. And then, you know, AJ gets a few elbows in. Well, then Shinsuke starts doing kicks. And then AJ started doing kicks, but then started, like, tying them up in some holds. And then the holds from Shinsuke started turning into, like, pin submissions and stuff like that. So they were, like, going up the ladder of King's Road. And I was like, oh, my God. Yeah, they're doing the layers. They're doing the 2 punches equals 1 kick type shit. And I was like, oh, my God. If this is a 35-minute match, this might be the best thing we've ever seen at a WrestleMania. Like, because building up to that is stellar. And because that's, I mean, you're talking Mitsuharu Misawa, like Kenta Kobashi, like the All Japan, New Japan, early 90s, pretty violent shit that happened, but it was beautiful storytelling. And it seems like they got past Act 1 and they were in Act 2. And then they were about to get to Act 3 and then the match ends. And I was like, did they get cut on time? Like, because I was fully expecting that beautiful counter from AJ into the Styles Clash to end the match. I was like, oh, gorgeous. This is where it's going to start picking up. I was like, this is where they're going to start doing amazing arm bars, and they're going to start doing all the crazy shit, and the Shinsuke, like, go for 4 or 5 Kinshasas and barely miss, and then the last one he's going to hit it and win. And I was like, oh, this is going to be stellar. And then AJ does the counter into the Styles Clash, then 1, 2, 3, match over. And I was like, wait, what? Like, no, that...
Yeah, did they just hit one finish?
That was one finisher.
Yeah, okay.
And
that did feel cut.
Yeah, because I was like, you're telling me that 2 masters of the false finish aren't allowed to do false finishes? You know, and there's a lot of theory online that, they didn't want to cut into the main event because if the main event was going to have a lot of false finishes, they wanted to save the drama for that.
And I can kind of get that, but at the same time, I mean, we expected a lot of false finishes. We didn't get it. The match itself was structured very well. I loved what they did.
Yeah.
I didn't even think about the King's Road stuff until you just pulled that out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because I was sitting there and I'm like, we're watching a Japanese match.
Yeah, yeah, for sure.
That's all I said. Like, me, Maury, and Anubis are sitting there, and we're just like, I'm really surprised. Like, all the New Japan guys in the crowd must be popping hard on this right now.
Oh yeah, yeah, because they were. I mean, it was one of those that they were hitting the right moves at the right time. Mm-hmm. Which is why I was like, okay, this is something that they have been brainstorming since New Japan. Like, they're delivering on a promise they made to each other. Like, that's really what it started feeling like. I will say, though, heel Shinsuke, genius idea.
Yeah.
Absolute brilliant.
I've been saying since NXT, we need a heel Shinsuke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We need that vicious killer Shinsuke. That's what we need.
A good idea. To really nail it home, and this is like a perfect setup, is bring back like the Authority, but have the right-hand man of Triple H be Shinsuke Nakamura coming out in a fucking suit, and then on the other hand, it's Samoa Joe. They already put Samoa Joe in that opportunity one time. Mm-hmm. He's kind of doing the same thing with Roman right now. Like, hey, I'm going to make your ass tap out. Like, make those two guys the goons. And oh my God, I will buy everything they want to publish. Like, because that's what I'm just a huge mark for the old school. We always talked about it on old podcasts and stuff like that. But the WCW stuff, to where Eric Bischoff brought in the Great Muta.
Oh, yeah.
When he brought in the Great Muta as like his henchman, I was like, oh, that's perfect. Like, oh, yes. Because he doesn't have to talk. And, you know, Samoa Joe and Shinsuke are great. They're a lot of charisma and stuff. But if they just come out and handle business, they're bouncers. They're super violent. They just knee people in the back of the head. They put them in like an arm bar, make people tap, and that's it, and you're gone. Yeah. Great. You know, and people are kind of talking now about they want Shinsuke to be a Paul Heyman guy. I was like, well, yeah, I don't think he needs Paul Heyman. I don't think
he doesn't really need it.
He doesn't need Heyman.
Though he did do something very interesting on SmackDown, which was, and I'm not talking about like during the match, but like a little interview segment, which was really cool because they're like, oh, well, why did you do that? And he goes, I guess I just got too emotional and I'm really sorry. Wink. And I'm just
yeah.
And then they're like, well, no, but why did you do that? And he goes, I'm sorry, I don't speak English.
The Tajiri, yes, the Tajiri lost in translation. So
and I was just like, I saw that and I'm like, holy shit, this is all we need now is him to basically form chaos.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
I was gonna say, wait for him to say indeed. Just throw one out. I'd pop.
Oh God, if he did,
I actually want to go back, watch that match with the Japanese commentary, and see how much Funaki pops during that match.
I bet it's constant.
Because I mean, like if you watch like any of the Great Khali's matches or even the Punjabi prison with Indian commentary, Khali shows up and they go fucking nuts.
It's AJ Khali. Oh, that's so good. But yeah, overall, like WrestleMania was fine. I see a lot of people say worst show I've ever seen, and I'm like, if this is the worst wrestling show you've ever seen, you are fucking brand new to this, Jack.
Dude, I popped for Nicholas. Like literally, I popped for Nicholas.
And then the Raw the night after was the best. Like, I love Braun Strowman so much.
Yeah.
because he's the perfect balance of lovable oaf. Like, he's slightly dumb, but not really. You know what I mean? Like, they have that smidgen of, like, whenever he was so upset, and I'm so glad it got such a great pop in the audience, whenever he's like, there's a scheduling conflict. And then they all look at him, and he's like, Nicholas is in the 4th grade. And then the whole crowd lost it. I was like, that's such a great line. But anyone else saying that wouldn't have worked. But the way he said it, like, he delivered on it, and it's like, well, where is your tag team partner? Nicholas? Oh, he's right here. He's been here the whole time. And he, like, slightly moves over, and then he comes up from behind.
I thought the whole Nicholas thing was interesting. It was very weird. What I loved was afterwards, all like the and I'm gonna use the term the kayfabe sites, the ones that are just like making jokes about the stuff. Yeah. Were just like, after winning the Raw Tag Team titles, Nicholas has been suspended for 30 days for Flintstones chewables.
Yeah, for violation of the wellness policy.
That's a free son.
That shit was just like, it made me laugh. And of course, like, you had workers tweeting stuff like Blue Meanie. Blue Meanie's fucking hilarious on Twitter.
Oh yeah, that was a good one.
And he was just like, I don't forget to pre-order the Rise and Fall of Nicholas on WWE Shop.
Like, yeah, my favorite one he did was, as soon as that happened, he was like, well, Nicholas's indie work rate just went up. Or like how much he could charge. Oh, made me laugh. Like, I was like, so good, man.
The fact that they're recognizing the title reign on the website, like,
it is
interesting.
An official canon. If fucking David Arquette could be WCW champion, by God, Nicholas is going to be.
He's on the books.
And somebody threw out like an interesting theory. Like, obviously it's complete bullshit, but remember how they wanted the New Day to break Demolition's record because Demolition was suing them?
Right.
So Rene Dupree was the youngest tag team champion. So the theory goes, like, Vince remembered that Rene Dupree didn't, like, smile at him at backstage at a show or something like that. He goes, you know what? Fuck that guy too.
Yeah,
get a younger guy.
Get a 10-year-old in there. Like, see how they fight with that one.
Tony, you have your kid here.
Where's he sitting?
Over in the back. And
I was expecting like a return, but like
I was too. Like, he was going to go in the crowd, and then it's like, oh wait, you know,
like Bobby Lashley or something.
Yeah, and of course they brought Lashley back on Monday, and which was hilarious. Oh, that was so great. It's so weird that there wasn't a ton of like big returns at WrestleMania. They waited till the day after.
Well,
you know what I mean? Like,
we got our big return at WrestleMania with Daniel Bryan, though, and I mean, you don't want to taint that.
That's true.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah,
I'm still stunned, and I still need to watch it, but I'm still stunned they gave away Daniel Bryan versus AJ Styles on television. Like, you crazy? Oh, yeah. Like, save that shit for fucking.
Well, there's a lot of potential for another matchup down the road. So,
and I saw the Shinsuke like run in, and he like ruined the match, and I was like, ruin the match. You could give me that triple threat every day of the week forever, please.
Right.
Though I did cringe when he hit the Bombier on the back of the head.
Yeah. It's like, Daniel, you better take it easy, brother, because god dang.
Yeah. I mean, it was just like during Daniel Bryan's match where he was getting the haluva kick, and I was still like, oh.
Or any headshots.
Yeah, sure. Any headshots with D. Bryan. I was like, fuck. This might be his last match.
Right. Oh, just adds that drama. Oh, but it's gross. It's like watching NASCAR for the car crashes.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, there's a certain intrigue about it, but I guess whenever they cleared him, they really cleared him.
Yeah. Oh,
God bless, man. But of course, as is WrestleMania tradition, the NXT TakeOver the night before was way better. That's a new WrestleMania tradition, is The NXTs are awesome, but
that's a takeover tradition. Every takeover is better than the pay-per-view that follows it.
Yeah, and that's fair. And I mean, and yeah, WrestleMania was solid. All the hate online and stuff, screw the haters. Like it was fine. It worked. Like, it was
fine.
Yeah, it was fine. It was very watchable. You could go rewatch it and still enjoy it. Like that's great. Better than what
you
was
got my
WrestleMania.
wife into it. So
yeah,
you got it. It was good for me. So
yeah, better than like WrestleMania 26 or whatever it was. Which one did the Miz headline? Oh.
What about the one where Brock and Goldberg went out to get booed the shit out of?
WrestleMania 20, yeah. And the only highlight of that entire pay-per-view, besides the main event, because that's the one where Benoit won, I think. Mm-hmm. And then Eddie Guerrero was out to hug him. But that was the return of The Undertaker as The Undertaker. He came back as the dead man instead of American Badass. And had that really good deal with Kane. About, my brother's dead, and who's this phony of the American Badass, and I want my brother back, and I'll do everything I can to kill you. That way, my brother has to come take your soul. And I was like, all right. I'll out.
It looks like they're getting ready to kill off the dead man again, though, so that's a thing. Because if he's booked for... He's booked for the Saudi Arabia Greatest Rumble match thing. Yeah. So in a casket match.
Gonna take that?
I think it's Rusev Day.
Yeah, it's okay.
I'd be surprised.
Yeah,
but they can bring him back as the American Badass. So
I was expecting that at WrestleMania.
So was I.
John Cena ran to the ramp in his fan clothes.
That was another thing workers had so much fun with on Twitter.
Oh,
James Storm, the ref came to tell him that they had free beer backstage.
My favorite deal is whenever they gave the congratulations everyone, we have an attendance record of 78,241. And I was like, did they count Cena? Because he left his seat. Like, is he part of that count? I don't know. The world may never know. So I thought it was a good idea to bring Taker back and have him squash Cena.
Oh, that was terrific.
Oh, yeah.
Great move.
Definitely.
Great move. Because you need to make Undertaker a threat again. Because you're starting to get a little wobbly. Well, I mean, literally and figuratively. Like a little...
He was healthy, right?
Yeah. This time, he looked good. He did old school. He walked across the ropes. Like, even my wife was like, oh, shit. Like, whenever he got up on the ropes, I was like, yeah, this is a real deal, man. This is 20, however many years in the making. But, yeah, great that they brought him on. Hell of a deal for Cena to let him squash him. I mean, Cena has nothing else to prove. But it's still a big deal whenever someone squashes Cena. Like, he's just leverage now. You know, he's the tackle box guy that you can kind of use him as bait for anybody.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting. Overall, I wish Triple H would stop wrestling. I don't think Triple H as a wrestler makes a lot of sense anymore. Not unless it's like a very big deal, like once every other WrestleMania or something.
Yeah.
Basically, I think he should have an army of henchmen. I think he should be like, no, I'm going to pick this to go after you. I'm going to pick this to go after you. Oh, you're talking shit? Well, a tag team match against my boys. Bam. Like, I have the strongest guys on the roster. You can't beat me. I'm untouchable. And then you have someone like a Goldberg or whatever, not necessarily Goldberg, but someone with a build like that to be able to come in and say, I'm going to go through every one of your henchmen, but I'm going to get you. And then there's your year-and-a-half long storyline.
Special.
Yeah. I guess they tried to do something like that with Seth Rollins as the Kingslayer. But like,
well, H and Shane have been doing matches back to back for like the past few years, right? And majority of them.
Another one that needs to stop.
Both of them are losing, just for whatever.
Yeah. Right. They're filling in and. Yeah. And
like up the value of the WrestleMania in a sense.
Right, exactly. Like, I guess, but that's so weird because I don't know. I'm kind of jaded against Triple H. Not for like he just married his way into the company. Like, I don't care about that. I just think he was better earlier in his career. Like, before he was the Game and all this other stuff.
Oh, back when he was the Connecticut Blue Blood?
Right. Like, whenever he would actually have long technical matches. Because, I mean, dude was trained by Killer Kowalski.
Yeah.
So it's like, be that guy. Be the grappling manipulator mechanic guy. Because you can do it.
I do want to see the vicious Game Triple H before he's done. I do want to see a vicious one.
Yeah.
I mean, a vicious one would be nice. It's just who do you have it directed at? Right. That's the big problem you have right now. I mean, the roster doesn't Seth's done his thing with him. We don't see Joe doing it.
No, Joe's too henchman right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but it's interesting. I mean, very interesting landscape. There's a lot of good that's going to come from it. It's a lot of weird stuff, though. Like, weird in a good way, to where you can't quite tell what's going to happen. And I guess that's the type of vibe they've been wanting to get for years. They just couldn't quite nail down.
Yeah.
But yeah, interesting, fun time to be a wrestling fan. I think the in-ring product is better than it's ever been in the history of the business.
Yeah.
Just the talent. And whenever your C-listers are, let's see. Who would be a C-lister?
C-lister. Big Show?
Yeah, Big Show's been around.
By choice, though. By choice. Not
yes,
by
correct.
He's not doing well. But by choice.
Yeah, correct.
Doesn't want to work.
Yeah, and I mean, you have Bo Dallas. But Bo Dallas is great. Especially as part of the Miztourage. So if that's your lower rung, you're doing okay. You're doing fine.
Yeah. Drew Gulak.
How great is that PowerPoint gimmick, by the way?
PowerPoint presentation. Oh man.
Oh man. Yeah, I'm trying to think of because of course NXT TakeOver was fantastic.
Yeah.
The Gargano Ciampa match.
Man.
I literally cringed about 4 times in that match.
Oh yeah.
To where there was the spot that made me go the worst was the cement powerbomb. The sunset flip powerbomb onto the cement, because you could hear Ciampa's head crack against the back of the cement. And I was like, oh, Jesus. Just bad. And then he laid there for about 4 minutes, and I was like, brother, just don't get up. You're done. You did your time. That's fine. Just pin him. You're good. But no, then they went another 15 freaking minutes.
Yeah. There was that one headshot with the crutch too.
A headshot. That was the other thing, because I was like, they did a headshot with a weapon.
Yeah.
What? He didn't do the Undertaker chair shot thing, which, I agree with. You should fucking block that shit. But took it. Just Mick Foley style, leaned into it, cracked him over the head
Yeah.
Woo.
That was the one that made me cringe during that match. And I was just like, holy shit.
Yeah. Yeah. And I thought the ending was great, because it was a great storytelling ending.
Oh, yeah.
To where there was that little bit of Gargano that was going to sit next to his friend.
He was going to stab the shit out of him, too, which I loved.
Yeah, yeah. He was going to and then he felt mercy, and then he set it down, and then he sat right next to him, because that famous pose where they wear the rest of their head on each other and stuff like that. But then the moment Ciampa started moving, Gargano grabs the face mask and was like, fucking God! Made me laugh. I was like, that's it, boy. You got it.
Oh, is that meme of that lion and the guy? It's like, when your dog has something you don't want to eat.
Right, where he's crying his your dog has chocolate in its mouth.
We're talking the high points of TakeOver. What was your low point of TakeOver?
Let's see if TakeOver. Mm-hmm.
But that would be like a very high low point for me.
I'm trying to think. Yeah, there's not a whole lot of low points. I still don't think they quite know what to do with Basler.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that entire match to me it just didn't feel right. I mean, to me, that was my low point of the entire card.
Yeah. What I find really intriguing about her, though, is she is making wrestlers wrestle in a different way. Like, it's almost a mix of the weird, like, back in the mid-90s, where you would have, like, shoot wrestling. Mm-hmm. Even though it was scripted, it wasn't. You were, like, Shamrock. And, like, you know what I mean? And you have, like, Steve Blackman. And you had that sort of... That's kind of the vibe I'm getting with Basler. I'm like, okay.
Yeah, I could definitely get, like, a Pancrase style out of her. Yeah, absolutely.
Give her a little bit of time and she'll learn the ring mechanics and stuff. But I'm like, okay. Yeah. Like, I loved her match with Ember Moon because it didn't feel like a wrestling match. I was intrigued more than anything. I was like, what's going on right now? And then whenever they would do the arm stuff and they were still selling it like the psychology of a wrestling match. But then at the very end, whenever Basler does that sick, like, elbow kick thing, like, whenever they lay it down and she goes and... However she does it, it's safe, but it doesn't look safe. Just a great spot. Like a totally solid.
I mean, even her, like, bashing her shoulder up against the post was nice.
Yeah, like the weird mechanical stuff using the ring as a weapon. It's a different vibe.
I wanted a more methodic pace, which we kind of got out of that one.
Yeah.
Because that plays to her strengths. Mm-hmm. And the whole time I'm just thinking, I'm like, I actually legit said this to Maury while we're watching. I go, I would have much rather have seen Ember Moon and Peyton Royce than this.
Yeah.
And it's just,
you'd be used to that.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it's not even that I'm not used to, like, a different style. It's just the styles clashed too much.
Oh, I see.
And I was just like, I mean, Basler can do some good shit. I mean, I'm not sold on her charisma or any of the other shit.
Yeah.
But I mean, giving her the title right now is a poor move, in my opinion. It doesn't cheapen the belt because the way she ended up winning it, but I mean, it just feels like it's too soon.
Yeah, and maybe I can see that, and the reason why I think I like Basler is she's almost a puzzle to solve. Mm-hmm. Like that's kind of the vibe I get with her matches is, okay, let's see how Asuka would take on Basler. Let's see how... So each person's going to try to, like, let me maneuver around this and kind of...
Yeah.
And I think there's something really cool there because a lot of times, I mean, honest to God, part of that reminds me of, like, Dean Malenko. That every wrestler would approach Dean Malenko a different way. But Dean was so good at wrestling in his own very specific style that... You had to, like, it was almost David and Goliath, but not because of size. It was more like David and Goliath, but because of style. Like, how do I break through this weird mechanism of she's going to come after my elbows and strikes in my joints, and I'm not used to that. So do I go for, like, high kicks? But if I do, she's going to grab my leg out and, like, you're starting to use that MMA strategy of, okay, how am I going to, skin this cat?
The problem I see with that is, what did it do for Malenko? I mean, he works backstage. I mean, that's fine. Like, he's at that stage of his career, but he never got past that mid card.
He was a gatekeeper. Yeah. Total. Absolutely.
And I mean, is that what we're going to do with Basler? Because if so, then great. If not, and you want to do great things with her, then, I mean, you're going about it the wrong way. Like, there's a very specific type of fan that goes and says, I want to watch Dean Malenko wrestle every fucking night.
Right. Yes, that is a very niche market. That is totally. And like that's what I loved about Daniel Bryan's book, because he was that guy. He was like, I didn't care about anything else. He was like, I wanted to watch Eddie Guerrero versus Dean Malenko, and I wanted to be trained by Shawn Michaels. Those are my two dreams in the world, and that was it. Like he was very adamant, like he didn't want anything else. Yeah. But you're exactly right. Like, but because to go on the point to bring it back to like Peyton Royce is superstar mega billboard material. Yeah. Like that is showstopper. If you put her, you know, if Miz and Maurice as like a wrestling thing didn't work out, if you put Peyton Royce and the Miz on the same team, you couldn't. It would be you couldn't fit their superstar ego in a limousine. You know what I mean? Like
spokesperson,
bigger than life. Like, oh, so look how great we are with these big feather jackets, and like, oh yeah, they could eat into it, right? And she'd be a genius at it. But Basler's going to be one of those that, honestly, it sounds weird, but she might be kind of a Samoa Joe style.
That fight feel.
Yeah, the big fight boxer. Let's throw down. You know.
Yeah, but the problem is we're going to get that on both whatever show Rhonda Rousey ends up on, which is going to be Raw, because they're not shifting her. I can tell you that much. You know, we're going to have that on Raw, and then we're going to have that on NXT. That's very odd to kind of do that.
And something I kind of wanted to touch base with you guys, and it's kind of related to this point, is, you know, we all love NXT. It's kind of the place to go for. But there's one problem I'm starting to see with NXT, and we've touched on it a little bit before, but now it's way more apparent. So NXT, everybody's over. No matter what your gimmick is, no matter if it's goofy or awesome or whatever, like you're over. The crowd loves you. If you're a bad guy, they boo you. If you're a good guy, they cheer you. Where there's going to be a problem is now the fans know about NXT. So the whole idea of, oh my goodness, Peyton Royce is now on SmackDown. Well, she's already wrestled a majority of the women on the SmackDown roster because they're also from NXT.
Yeah.
So now there's no newness anymore. There's not a sense of, who is this person? And let's discover what they're like together. And oh my goodness, what a great dream match. Well, these matches already happened, and you could argue NXT, since it is just on the network and not on television, there's going to be just a TV audience, which is substantial. But they're at least going to hear stuff about it before it ever happens. Probably a year or two before it ever happens.
I mean, you got it on the network, of course, but then you also have it on Hulu. And the same thing with 205 Live. So
now you're getting to the point to where now the main rosters are filled with NXT people.
Yep.
So now you don't really have three brands. You just have NXT that comes on different times of the day.
Yeah.
But what will that mean for retention? What will that mean for the spontaneity? What will that mean? There's going to be weird ramifications for it because they're going to start having to change the way they go about doing angles. And I mean, they're going to bring up NXT as part of main roster angles. They have to.
Yeah. They're absolutely going to have to.
It's a good thing that NXT pay-per-views don't happen like every month.
Yes.
So when they move up, they don't put them together with the people they went up against, like their most recent match in NXT, their very last match in NXT.
Yeah.
They subtly put them in there, like eventually, but it's not directly. As soon as they're moved up, they go straight to like Nakamura and Joe. They didn't go straight to that.
That's true.
It's gonna be a subtle.
Like the breathing room. Yeah. Like they make it happen, and it's just a weird dynamic because beforehand you clearly had your Randy Ortons who were like mainstays. Though I've been on freaking Raw for 14 years and you're not going to do a damn thing about it. Then you get NXT people coming in to challenge him. Like, oh, who are these new guys? Oh my God. And there's this weird give and take with it. But now
it's changing of the guard for sure.
Yeah, but now you have like, Enzo's gone, but like Big Cass. Is Big Cass going to be the gatekeeper for SmackDown? And it's like, well, okay, like it's just a weird vibe shift. But it's a neat one because it's going to force them to think of storylines in a different way. Because you just don't have, you just got on SmackDown 4 months ago, and I've been here for 8 months, so we have 2 months of chemistry together. Like, no, we used to battle it out in NXT.
Yeah.
I still have a receipt to give you. You still got a grudge
bigger
against
stage.
Me. Yeah, like bigger stage. Let's bring it. Almost like how they promoted the dream match of Nakamura and AJ. But what they were really talking about is, hey, this is the rematch from that New Japan thing you guys watched.
The first time we had it here.
Yeah, this is the one time, so be sure to watch. Yeah, exactly. So they're going to think about that. And another thing is that just reminded me that Roman Reigns tweeted that he would fight anyone, anywhere, at any time for any reason. And then the Kenny Omega, the first person, he was like, "Oh, really?" And I was like, "Oh, don't tease, you tease."
I will say this much: like last year, actually no, not the last New Japan in the U.S. show, but the G1 special in Long Beach.
Yes.
Last year, I mean, those couple of those guys kind of stuck around, and then they ended up backstage at Raw and SmackDown. I'm talking about mostly Okada. Mm-hmm. And Okada's kind of like an ambassador for New Japan.
Yes.
The same shit happened again this past weekend.
Yeah, they were around.
Well, they were around, but we also had guys like Okada hanging out backstage backstage on Raw and SmackDown again.
Yeah, that's
and such. And it's like, it's just an interesting thought because of the way the direction on WWE is kind of changing. Yeah. Could we potentially see some kind of collab between the two?
I think so, and I think that would be a great way to promote WWE Network. You have a pay-per-view that is a, like Ring of Honor, what do they call that one? The world one? Like Best in the World?
Yeah.
Yeah, so best, like that type of deal to where they'll have War of the Worlds, and like have that sort of vibe about, we're going to get these 5 different companies together. So you're going to see people from Ring of Honor and WWE, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Progress, Beyond, and whoever else, NWA, now that they got the rights to do whatever.
Yeah.
So let's bring in some key competitors and do a single elimination to showcase, just the same way we did the Cruiserweight tournament, the same way we did UK tournament. Let's do it promotion-based. Oh, and by the way, while we're doing this, remember, all the Ring of Honor video library has now been added to the WWE Network. So now
because Honor Club is complete bullshit.
Yeah, that thing's dead. Dead in the water. ROH was smart. I don't know who's in charge of it anymore. Probably not Gabe. But sell the rights. For God's sake, make WWE Network the one place in North America to get worldwide wrestling in English. Yep. Make it happen. They have the platform. Use it. Do your royalties. Whatever you got to do. That's the way you survive.
And apparently they're going to be using a lot of TNA footage coming up.
Which is whenever Kurt brought up the whenever he said it on Raw.
He said that on Raw, and it was just like, oh shit. But even before that, you had over the weekend they did the little gimmick with during the Hall of Fame where they showed the video packages and stuff. Mm-hmm. The first video package that they showed for like what's coming to the network included the Hardy 24 thing that's going to be on, which looks cool. And they show drunk Jeff Hardy in a TNA ring during the Sting match, like leaning in the corner. And I'm just like, oh, they didn't fucking do that, did they?
Yeah.
During the AJ build, the AJ Nakamura build.
That's right.
We got a few shots of not only just young AJ in TNA, but AJ, one of the last times he won the TNA World title.
Yes. Yeah.
And I was just like, what in the fuck is going on?
Yeah. So I think it's That's smart business.
They're doing a partnership with the Hardy, right? Hardy thing, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Well, it's not just the Hardy thing because, they got the AJ stuff too, like the clips that they used in that. And I mean, we had Dixie on the fucking Kurt Angle thing last year, which was really surprising. Like fucking Dixie Carter, like Miss TNA herself. Like, are you fucking kidding me?
Yeah.
Like,
and I think that's the way it should be. I think WWE Network, if they really want to be the global destination, we have original programming.
Yeah.
Well, if you buy out the tape library from TNA, I'm just saying, you got Mick Foley, you got freaking Sting, you got Hardys, you got AJ, Samoa Joe, you got your stars now, so utilize it. Like, that is part of their history, and then that's not a taboo subject anymore. And I do think that, because my wife and I were talking about, like, what's the future of WWE, because Vince is getting old. Like,
oh yeah,
you can really tell now, like the skin's off of his neck, like that type of old, to where
he's going to focus on football soon.
Yeah, he's got that XFL to worry about. But exactly, on the way out, what does the future of the business look like without a Vince McMahon? And I think it's more collaboration. I think it is getting more of the tapes, doing business deals with these companies, like buying up smaller things like the GFW, making things like that happen. Like, yeah, come on in, guys, we'll sponsor you. You work for WWE now, but you're your own independent label. Like, you'll see this in music all the time.
Mm-hmm.
Like Sony Music is one of the biggest conglomerates in the world. However, they fund thousands of smaller record producing companies. Thousands. Yeah. So if you go, so you go underground. Oh, this young hot band that's signed to this indie label. Actually, that indie label's owned by Sony Music Group.
Yep.
But it is what it is, right? It reminds me, way back in the day, people didn't know this, Abercrombie and Fitch used to own Hot Topic.
Yep.
So you had both. You had the people that were anti-establishment going to Hot Topic, but then you had the actual establishment of Abercrombie and Fitch. So the two were at war, owned by the same company. They don't care. They build that, us versus them. They get the same money regardless. Like, that's what you do. Yeah, that's what it is. Make your own Monday Night War, but instead of using Raw and SmackDown, Ring of Honor versus New Japan. Who's better? Let's see.
Yeah.
I mean, Ring of Honor is already great about doing it. Yeah. So it's just a continuation and giving it more of a worldwide platform. I'd watch a shit ton more Ring of Honor if I could get it through WWE Network.
Oh, absolutely.
Right. Oh, 100%. Like, no doubt in my mind.
And even if that meant that the subscription went from $9.99 to, like, let's just say $14.99 or whatever, totally. I would be fine with that.
Sign me up. Yeah. No doubt.
Yeah.
And that's how you could dictate the tiers. If you just want the WWE stuff, $10 a month, that never changes. If you want other North American promotions, such as Ring of Honor, all this, then $14.99. If you want worldwide, so CMLL, New Japan, All Japan, I know Noah's coming back.
Yeah.
Like,
was
$20
you got $20 Crash, you got AAA, kind of just get everything.
House of Hardcore.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm surprised that hasn't already happened, by the way, the House of Hardcore stuff. Because that's a Tommy Dreamer joint.
Yep.
And he's already employed by WWE, I think, right? He's back-end trainer guy, maybe?
He's
mentor?
He's got like a Legends deal with them. So it's
like
just
an ambassador sort of thing.
Yeah, okay. So, I'm surprised that hasn't happened yet. Be able to show that on WWE Network as like the alternate viewing experience, TVMA. But because it's on the network, they don't have to owe it to the ad people. Like, they could work out that deal to have ad stuff just for the TVMA, and then have the other stuff there. So That's where it's headed. I mean, it's going that way. It's not a matter of if it will, it's when it will.
Yeah. I mean, I would love to be able to see like Shimmer, Shine, and Stardom on fucking WWE Network as well.
And what a great PR move of saying you really respect women's wrestling, then getting an all women's wrestling promotion or 2 or 3.
Yeah.
To bam.
You want to see Kairi Sane back before she was Kairi Sane? Yeah. Stardom.
You want to see Asuka when she was known as Kana? Go back and watch. Yeah, totally.
Yeah. Watch this. Watch that. It's just. Oh, it'd be so good.
I love it. I'd never not have it on. It'd be streaming in my house like 24/7. I'd have something going, something wrestling going all the time.
I'd be watching it more than Blade Runner. I'll tell you that much.
I would sleep with it in my bed. That's how much I would be watching it.
Fuck you, Animal Crossing. It's gonna be the network today.
That 3DS just became the WWE Network machine. That's all that is.
Fuck you, Tom Nook.
Yeah, get out of here with your crap Pokemon Omega Ruby.
Get the WWE Network on your 3DS.
They got it, man. It's on there.
Dude, Skyrim it up.
Yeah. God, they have like the YouTube thing and all the stuff that is not a video game on the 3DS kind of fucking sucks. They're really not very good. The browser's terrible.
Their YouTube app is like absolute dog shit.
It's so bad. Like, I'm not even a really good developer, and I could probably develop a better YouTube app than like it's just bad. Ew, it's gross. But speaking of video games, I don't know. But we should talk about video games. So I finally got the PS3 hooked up properly through my freaking. So the PS3, as you all know, and I know Marco knows. I was going to ask you about this too, Marco.
Okay.
PS3 is a fucking pain in the ass.
It is.
The high def copyright protection. I hate it. It's a feature that's you can activate or deactivate on like a PS4. Xbox One, I think, has it off by default, but certain apps require it to turn on. And what that is it blocks any recording from the device. Mm-hmm. So whenever you hook it up to like a capture card, it won't give you a signal. It'll be like, this has high def copyright protection. Please see owner's manual, blah, blah, blah. You're breaking the law or whatever. And you're like, okay, this is stupid. Thank God I have the AverMedia Live Gamer Portable because someone made a custom firmware that disables it. So it uses it almost like an HDMI splitter. It gets the signal, it deactivates the high def copyright stuff, and then it just resyncs it back to the output on the HDMI. Okay. So I was able to finally get it working with the sound to come through. Everything was good. I basically have to run it through a little app, but since it comes in at 1080, I just maximize it on my screen and then move the mouse, and then the borders go away. They like fade away. You can't tell the difference. Like at my latest Twitch stream, I played almost 2 hours of PS3 stuff, so like backwards compatible stuff, just to test it out, and it looked great. Like you can't tell that it's actually 4 things removed from actually being a live feed of my PlayStation 3. You can't tell. Okay. But like I know you had the PS3 hooked up through your Elgato. Mm-hmm. Is that right? To do Suikoden, and you played Yakuza. Was there something like that you had to go through, if you remember, to set that up, or was it something that the Elgato just did? It just let you.
I think the Elgato just did, and I don't think I was. I don't think I was doing any sort of online gaming. It was mainly like single player, not like online. That's the games that I was streaming at back at that time. So I wasn't doing any online gaming because I needed that for the streaming portion. So
gotcha. To eat that bandwidth. But like out of all the devices, and now I'm trying to rock out this AV cable to HDMI adapter, and for whatever reason, it doesn't like going through a capture card. Because I mean, technically, I guess I'm doing 3 conversions of the video. Yeah. So there's probably a good reason. Okay. What I would really, because basically it's one of these. I'll hold up the camera, and a big plug for us, twitch.tv/, youtube.com/precipice podcast. If you want to see the live stuff, which you should, because the video makes everything better. And but basically, it's one of these bad boys. Let me open this damn thing. Oh my god, this thing gets super freaking hot as well whenever it's plugged in. I don't know why, but it gets like scorching hot. But it's one of these. It's backwards on the camera because of Skype, but it's an HDMI deal. So basically, you do the 3 right here, and then you flip it around, and then it's a HDMI out, and then you can hold the format button and either make it 720 or 1080, and then if you hold it down, it makes it 16:9 or 4:3. So like it changes aspect ratio, and then it changes resolution. So running analog cables through this side to an HDMI out to an HDMI in on my AverMedia to an HDMI out to my PC through the... So yeah, this is like 4 layers deep of video conversions happening. I want to get it working because I want to hook up the GameCube. I want to hook up the Dreamcast. I want to be able to get good footage from that without using an emulator. But I mean, it's way easier just to use an emulator.
See, I know in the past what I've done with things I've had to hook up with composite or component. I hook them up. I used to hook them up through my stereo receiver, and use the HDMI out from the stereo receiver to my capture card.
That makes sense. That's a good idea because that way you're unscrambling the signal. I guess you're like using it as a moderator to send a proper signal over. That's a good idea. Kind of as a switch, and not the Nintendo thing, but like a tech switch. It's so weird. That's the part. It's fun because we're all Twitch streamers and make video and stuff.
Yeah,
that's the type of shit no one tells you about. Before you get into this racket and into this business, you're like, you know what? I'm gonna hook up my thing and I'm gonna play the video games and I'm gonna talk on my microphone. Nope. You got to worry about video conversions. You got to worry about bit rates. You got to worry, and it's fun and it's cool to learn. And, after you do it for a while, it's just like second nature.
Yeah.
But
that's the...
Yeah, but you got to get there. I mean, that's the part they don't tell you about. And then people start doing it and they're like, this is hard. Yeah. It's real hard. Oh, man. But, I'm glad I got both of you here on the show this time, because I'm going through a weird, I think I mentioned it before, a weird like superhero itch.
Okay.
Like the more of the video gamey, rewatched my Spider-Man.
Flying and swinging.
Yeah. I rewatched the Spider-Man Shattered Dimensions West versus Backlog, and I was like, you know what? The more I think about that game, the more I really like playing it. So what else is out there? So I actually ended up getting, and it reviewed really poorly. Let me actually go grab it real quick. It's right over here. But I got this game. I saw it, and then I was like, yeah, I saw this game on the shelf, and it was made by a cool team, and I'm going to play this game, and I haven't played it yet. I looked at all the reviews. It got fucking bombed. Like, terrible reviews. And I was like, what? But I'll go grab it real quick.
I'm curious what that game would be.
Yeah,
kind of like a
one
Call
thing,
of Duty on the Game Boy.
One thing I will
because there's something with. Oh, there we go. There's something with superhero games where they're supposed to be a little janky. You know what I mean? Like it doesn't control super well, or even if it does, there's a weird like unlock mechanism or something. But the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles, Mutants in Manhattan, made by Platinum Games, which I love Platinum Games. Metal Gear Revengeance, Bayonetta.
Yeah.
I was like, these guys know action. Got this. Thank God, got it for $6. Complete in box. Good condition.
Cool. There you go.
So, didn't break the bank on it or anything. But yeah, it came home, got like a 39% on Metacritic. I was like, well.
Yeah.
But it seems like those superhero games, whether it's like those Transformers games, were pretty good, right? They were like...
Yeah, Transformers were better received.
There's, of course, a lot of TMNT games throughout the years. Spider-Man, ton of them. X-Men, not really any of them except for like X-Men Legends and the ones on like 16-bit.
Origin Wolverine was really good. I was review wise, and
I mean you
if you can find that,
you can technically say like the Ultimate Alliance stuff as well.
Right. Yeah. And
that too.
Right, like the kind of Diablo-esque Marvel heroes. Marvel heroes. So, but yeah, games like that. So exactly, like I'm glad you brought up the X-Men Origin or the Wolverine Origins thing, because I was like, what are some hot hits that I'm not thinking of? And that was one of them. And because I'm like, you can get those superhero games now for like $5 a pop. I could probably go to GameStop on my PS3, especially because no one's buying PS3 games anymore.
Mm-hmm. I was looking at some today.
Yeah, see, but what's great is like, buy two get one, or big discounts here, like So like this weekend, I'm going to the game store in the mall, like the big game store I used to work at, and I'm like, I'm gonna get 2 or 3 PS3 games. My only problem is the disc drive is very hit or miss on my big full fat PS3, because I have one of it wasn't the original PS3 that plays the backwards compatible. It was the generation right after it. So it's still the huge one, but it's only like, what is it, 40 gig maybe? The big one. And I should probably open the PS3 and clean out the disc drive and hope that works.
Yeah.
But I also don't want to risk it. You know what I mean? Like I'm surprised this thing lasted this long. Because what is that, 14 years? PS4 or PS3 came out in 2004, 2005.
Mm-hmm.
It's 14 years, man. This thing is trucking along.
It is.
all the downloadable games work great, and thank God, because I have like 70 or 80 downloadable games. But I was like, I want to get the library. I want to get the collection. The only PS3, I have 2 physical PS3 games. One is Metal Gear Solid 4, the big collector's edition.
Which according to the internet, is the best superhero game released on the PS3.
the greatest, Solid Snake.
Yep.
And then the other PS3 game, and I know you'll appreciate this one, Marco, is White Knight Chronicles 2.
Yeah, I got that one.
Dude, good game. And it comes with White Knight Chronicles 1, so it's like you buy 2 games. Yeah.
Bundle.
So good. They don't make them like that anymore. But yeah, so I have that. I'm terrified to try either one in my disc tray because I don't want it to eat it. Like, I don't want it to get it in there and then I can never get the disc out and it doesn't read it. And I'll be like, no. It's so much so my anxiety on it is so high. I'm that close to buying a Craigslist PS3.
Oh, man.
You know what I'm saying? To be like, oh, well, I don't want to hurt my PS3. But if I get another PS3 for like $40, who gives a shit? Like, I'll open up that one all day. And I'll just link my account and I'll get all my downloadable games on it and whatever. And like that one can be the user, the ringer. But yeah, like big on that superhero game kick. And then I'm bummed because, well, this game in particular, like any of the Activision superhero games from like the 360 PS3 era, you can no longer get unless they're physical.
Yeah.
They pulled all that shit off Steam.
Yeah.
You can't buy it online. Yeah. If you go to the weird, shady third-party websites like G2A or Green Man Gaming, they're charging $70, $80 just for a Steam key because you can't get it anymore. Fuck that. Yeah, like if $70, I could go buy 8 of those games at the store. You know, like that's crazy.
I mean, a lot of that was a licensing issue between, in the case of Activision and Marvel. I mean, it's a huge licensing issue between the two, and you know,
because and the weird thing is with X-Men too. So X-Men, Fox still owns X-Men, right?
As of right now, yes.
And that's the only part of Marvel that Fox owns. Right?
Fantastic Four.
Okay, so those two, but everything else, Marvel has its own division, right? Like its own, like, I'm trying to think of how the business part of it works, because Marvel technically can't do anything they want with X-Men. They have to go through Fox to get approval, which is weird as shit, because like Marvel, they own the intellectual property, but the production rights are owned by Fox or something like that. Like
the film and TV right. Well, the film rights. When it comes to the TV stuff, it's usually a collab between the two. Okay. So like Legion. Legion's a good example of it. It's a collab between Fox and Marvel.
Gotcha.
But other than that, I mean, you got you also have Universal. Universal is another one we really don't talk about. Yeah. Universal has the film rights to Hulk. And last we heard, Namor the Submariner, which those rights may have gone back to Marvel. We don't know. Yeah. But Universal still has the film rights for the Hulk. The interesting bit of that is the if Universal wanted to, they can do a standalone Hulk movie.
Yeah.
But Marvel could use the Hulk in like an ensemble film.
Oh, like Avengers or
Thor Ragnarok, for example. Sony is another one. They got
Spider-Man.
They got a partnership with Spider-Man. So Spider-Man's in the MCU. However, Venom and like the Sinister Six are Sony.
Yeah, Spider-Man verse.
That's weird, because that came up because of the whole coverage right now for the Spider-Man PS4 game. That's part of what they discussed in the interview is like, and you know, Brian Inahar, who's the creative director over there at the infamous team. What's their name? Why can I not think of the publisher or the publisher that does Infamous? Punch? No, I think it is Sucker Punch. Okay. That's doing the Spider-Man PS4 game. So they keep bringing up like, what about Venom? What about Venom? Because this is the one place where they could get away with it, because it's on a Sony platform, exclusive, and it's a Spider-Man Marvel thing. So the only answer they've given about Venom in the new Spider-Man game is, Venom's a really cool character. That's it. That just poker face.
That is so fucking telling.
Yeah.
Side story. Yeah. Gladios mission.
And they're like, oh yeah, he's great. Venom's great.
Superhero-esque game, which I do recommend. It's something I've been meaning to get back to and playing. Prototype.
Yeah, so Prototype 1 and Prototype 2. I need to play Prototype 2. I played Prototype 1, and I guess I got to a mission where I couldn't pass it. And I was like, fuck this.
That's exactly what happened to me. So.
Really, like, it's weird. It had a lot of tunneling. Like, you would be doing great, you'd do great, and then it was almost how, you know, Grand Theft Auto would always have those missions about, oh, here's the RC plane. You're like, oh, fuck, I gotta do these? Like,
fucking RC plane bullshit.
I felt like Prototype had a few of those type of things, like, to where you were going great, and then it beelined you into, you have to pass this to go through the rest of the story, and I could just never get past it. And I was like, fuck this. Prototype 2 apparently was better about that.
Yeah.
Where you could like, and the stuff I remember is that was the era where you could like pick up. There were a lot of games like this, like the Hulk game, for instance. And I think there was an X-Men. Yeah, that maybe it might have been X-Men or a Wolverine Origins game where you could pick up people and throw them into helicopters. Like you'd just be like, "Wah!" and like toss people into it and like get onto a helicopter and like punch around and do all sorts of crazy stuff. And I remember Prototype 2 having something like that, to where you could like get a helicopter out of the sky and like toss it over and blow shit up. I was like, yeah, that's good times. And Infamous we talked about. That's a good superhero-esque.
If you could find Hulk Ultimate Destruction, you got to look for a physical copy. Yeah. That's another one.
Yeah, that's on GameCube, I think, right?
Like, it's on GameCube. It's on Xbox, PS2.
Yeah.
Yeah, like It's an interesting subgenre to get into, I guess. It's like, I collect superhero games.
Yeah.
Because, you don't hear about it a lot on YouTube or whatever. But it's neat because some of them are going to be really bad. But then some of them, I think the thing is, a lot of them are just going to be average.
Yeah.
Like a majority of them will just kind of be middle of the road. But then you have your highlights like the Arkham games and, like Spider-Man 2 is still sort of the de facto Spider-Man game.
Yeah.
Like if you're going to do web swinging, you're going to play that. I was looking up Amazing Spider-Man. Because I guess there was Amazing Spider-Man 1 and Amazing Spider-Man 2. And on the Wii U, both of those games are like $10 a pop. And I was like, great, I have a Wii U. I'll just go pick those up. Can't find them anywhere. The closest store that has them to me is like 200 miles away.
Shit.
Oh.
For real?
Yeah.
So but then of course Amazon, they're charging about 30-ish. I was like, oh, maybe eBay. But then eBay doesn't have a lot listed.
The one problem I have with the Amazing Spider-Man 1 game is the way that they handled their DLC on the other platforms.
Yeah.
Because in the game, you can spend real money, like actual money out of your pocket, to buy mobile games for Peter Parker to play on his cell phone.
What?
Yeah. You are buying a digital character
my territory.
mobile games. Yeah. Oh, and by the way, thanks Marco for plugging that Marvel Strike Force game. I've been playing that so goddamn much.
Good, dude.
And I was like during TakeOver, during Mania, I'm sitting there like watching the show, tapping away on this thing, and
get those orbs.
and Maury's just like, "What did you just say?" I'm like, "Fucking Marco."
Yeah, it's funny. Like, we all highly recommend the Intro to Mobile Games series that Marco does on his YouTube. However, make sure you have an unlimited data plan, because you're gonna be like, yeah, that game does look pretty neat. Let me see what this game's about. And then you're gonna do it for a little bit, and then you're gonna realize 4 hours go by, and you're like, yep, so I've wasted a lot of time on this game. And then, because I have my phone screen is all like, there's one page just for mobile games, and literally 85% of them are the ones that you have covered on the show. And I'm like, oh, I might play that. That looks interesting. And then the ones that look bad, and like you're too nice to say are bad, but they're very bad. I'm like, I'm going to get that one because that looks terrible. And then, so either way, it works on me.
I mean, like right now, I'm in the middle of a raid, so it's like,
yeah,
trying to take down Nick Fury.
Okay.
It's good. Oh man,
yeah. I do what I can, guys.
Oh, it's super good. Yeah, I'm trying to think of any other, like, because we're about an hour and a half. I think that might be it for this episode.
Another thing that broke yesterday was the new backwards compatible titles, original Xbox backwards compatible titles.
There were some good ones, like Republic Commando. I don't have the list in front of me.
On the 17th, we got Blinks the Time Sweeper, Breakdown, Conquer Live and Reloaded, Morrowind is coming. One I'm super excited about, which is Hunter the Reckoning.
Yes, I saw that and I thought of you. I was like, oh, Todd's going to dig it.
Jade Empire, Panzer Dragoon Orta.
That's a big one.
And SSX 3. That's on the 17th. The 26th, you got Destroy All Humans, Full Spectrum Warrior, Mercenaries Playground of Destruction, MX Unleashed, and then Star Wars Battlefront 1 and 2, Jedi Knight, Jedi Academy, Jedi Starfighter, KOTOR 2, and Republic Commando.
Great.
Yeah. Great. They hit fucking hard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm real happy that I do have the Xbox One now, because of that exact deal. Because I'll tell you what, man, Full Spectrum Warrior, that's an amazing series that nobody talks about.
Yeah.
I think the sequel is called like 10-Ton Hammer or something, or like Full Spectrum Warrior 10 Hammers or whatever. amazing strategy game. Like, super good. It's almost like playing a Final Fantasy Tactics style thing, but everything's happening in real time. So, like,
and positioning.
Yeah, because it's all flanking and like how the old Rainbow Six games used to be, like Rogue Spear. Right. Where you're really like, okay, I have two guys here. I'm going to try to flank into this thing and tell them to go here. And I think you don't get, if I'm remembering Full Spectrum Warrior, it's been years. You don't get actual control over any of your units.
Right, right. You're just positioning them and then let the action go.
Yeah, and it's all, there's no real pause to like set up stuff. You just got to think on your feet. It's like, oh shit, they're coming this way. A truck's driving through here. We got to bolt and like select your squad. Oh, those games are great.
Yeah, we definitely need more of those.
That seems to be a genre that, XCOM kind of sort of hits that itch, but it's more turn-based. Mm-hmm. But but the live, not quite a real-time strategy game, not quite a turn-based strategy, and not quite like a God game, but it's this weird mishmash. It's almost like Overlord. The strategy game's Overlord. Sort of that same mentality. And
if you can find Valkyria Chronicles, that's another like half and half. And mishmash, turn-based, and live positioning.
Super good too, and the story's pretty intense in that one. I know the first Valkyrie or Valkyria. I always think of Valkyrie Profile and Valkyria Chronicles, and I always like mix the two together. But it's Valkyria Chronicles. Yes,
Chronicles.
Yeah, the first one's on PC. I think you can get it on Steam. And highly recommended. I think the newest one apparently isn't as good. I remember talking to Imran about that, and he was like, "Nah, the new one ain't too hot." The one on PS4, it's called like Valkyria Revolution. Yeah. Something. It has like a weird.
But it goes back to the first one, like back to how the first one played. Is that what
kind of? I think they change some of the key mechanics, and that's why people are like, "This isn't very good," because they like start messing with that formula. That's
like what they do with what's that strategy game for Sega? It's escaping me. Shining Force.
Yes,
Shining Forces, but it's different.
They just the only thing common is the name and like the setting, but everything else is completely changed. A game that doesn't get a lot of love, and this is kind of a spoiler for kind of a YouTube thing I'm doing, but Metal Gear has 2 amazing strategy games on the PSP, and Metal Gear Acid. Those games are genius because it's a mix of like XCOM, Final Fantasy Tactics style, but it's also card based. So it's a card game. You're playing your card, and it basically you build a deck. It's almost like a loadout. Like you could have a card that says C4, and then if you play the C4 card, you can plant C4. So it's like using an item out of your inventory. But those games are great. And they have goofy stories, but they make sense for Metal Gear. So, to speak on that, kind of the main thing, I did a kind of a cryptic tweet about like, oh, I finally got my PS3 hooked up, and now I can do a thing I've been talking about for 3 years. And I don't know if you guys remember, if you go back and look on the old YouTube channel, I did a teaser trailer for a Let's Play project of Metal Gear Solid 3. Snake Eater HD. I did that without realizing that I had no way to capture that footage. I was like, oh, I'll just emulate it. I still can't emulate that game. Snake Eater is impossible to emulate. Like, it doesn't run right. I have a pretty beefy computer. Won't do it. But now, since we got this, now I can think about doing that because the PS3 is going in right. I have the HD collection. Now we can probably make this happen. But I've sworn to myself I'm not going to release a single episode until the whole thing's done. So what I can do is, so I might play 20 to 30 hours of Snake Eater offline. No one sees it. And then I'm like, oh, by the way, check out my new Let's Play project. It's done. Here's 40 hours of me playing.
You're going to Netflix it?
Netflix it. Bam. Watch whatever you want. Here's 22 episodes. Watch it. I don't know how well.
What I would even say go as far as uploading it on Twitch first, and just like kind of just keeping it there and waiting until it's like I've gotten everything uploaded, everything's ready to go. Set a full playlist and just premiere it all in one shot.
Be like, here's a 22-hour marathon of totally.
Yep.
And I mean, and that's kind of the way to do it, because I've talked about it before, and I think I might even do a YouTube video about it. But like making the switch over to Twitch is making me reevaluate how to deliver content. It is making me think like, well, like perfect example, West versus Backlog Crackdown, still not on YouTube. Still not even on YouTube. It's just on Twitch. So it only has like 15 or 16 views on Twitch, but for an archived video, that's kind of a big deal. Like, that's more than I would have ever expected it. I think my Tenchu one that came out on YouTube it has about 100 views, I think, and then on Twitch it only has like 8 or 9. But I'm like, that makes sense. Twitch is not known for like the archival stuff. It's more of the I want to watch you live or not at all.
Yeah.
But making that shift over, it's another good exercise in like, okay, what type of content do I want to make? How do I want to deliver it? Where's it going? Who wants to see it? But it's like, I don't think I'll ever put Wes Unboxes on Twitch.
No.
Because I don't think that's no one cares, right? They don't care.
There's a mark.
I definitely see, like, content-wise, some of the long-form stuff premiering that on Twitch first. I mean, West versus Backlog, you're looking at like a half hour usually.
Yeah.
I mean, Wes Unboxes, that's
12 minutes.
12 minutes, 12 ads. Joking.
Right, pretty much. Exactly. Like, and I don't think Twitch is a good format for that.
No.
Just because that's not what people go to Twitch for. In fact, I would argue Twitch is probably made for people to escape unboxing videos.
Yeah.
Like that, it's a whole different, no, I don't want that YouTube shit. Bring me over here with a live gaming. So to reward that behavior. And then it's like, I know we discussed it, making West versus Backlog Retro more of a history in video games or just standard gameplay. That's like, well, if I'm going the Twitch route, it might just be straight gameplay. It's easier to film. It's more dynamic. It's not a library. Like, it's just a, hey, here's a show of me playing this old retro game for an hour.
And the thing is while you're playing that retro game, I mean, you could do those live even.
Yeah.
Which is cool. But then you can also do while you're playing it, talk about the history of it and all the other stuff,
Yeah, totally. And it's funny because I kind of went down that road, and then I was like, well, here's the deal. The only reason I haven't done a live West versus Backlog is because there was already a name for that.
The Power Hour?
That was the Power Hour.
Yeah.
So it's like keeping those things separate enough, right? Because like and Marco and I have talked about it, there will be a return of the Power Hour. We don't know when the scheduling is going to work. We don't know how all that, but it's never off the table. You guys will get new Power Hour episodes, I promise. Like, guaranteed it's going to happen. And they might be live. They probably will be live, in fact. But it's a different thing now. Like, Marco's better at content. I'm better at content. The way we want to deliver it might change. So, but it's something that we have discussed, like, clearly. And we just coming at it from a more mature angle now. Because I love looking back at the old Power Hours, and some of those are the goofiest things we've ever done.
It is.
Like, some of it makes me laugh. Oh my god!
That's our like radio show.
Totally. it's great to look back at the archive of it and be like, look at how, not only how hilarious that goofy stuff was, but like how far we've come from then.
Right.
Now it's more refined. We're more like the pros that can go in and just fire on all cylinders. Because you had some highlights. We had some hilarious ones. Like the Croc episode is one of my favorites. The Splinter Cell one and Marvin, where we created Marvin, is like, it's up there in the lexicon of lore for our goofy shit. But then you had... We don't want to have another instance of like the Street Fighter Alpha 3, to where if you go back and watch that episode, all it was like hate being spammed in chat over and over and over. And like the bad type of hate where people were making dumb usernames and like getting it put on the screen and like just saying vile shit. Yeah. And it was like we were having a great episode and then it just fucking got tanked. And I was like, okay, not gonna happen again. So
no show chat.
No show chat. Yeah, turning off, disabling notifications, that type of stuff. Like those are the lessons you learn, and you got to learn them the hard way. You just have to.
Yeah.
But yeah. So all that stuff's on the table, but it's also like making that transformation to Twitch. Now I'm like, okay, what shows make sense for Twitch, and if they don't make sense for Twitch, should I still do them? And
that's fair.
You know what I mean? Like there's a kind of a cut in like, okay, I love Commilog. I got all the mics and stuff set up for it, but how often do I want to film that?
Yeah.
And it's good to toss out ideas and try a few episodes of one thing, and if it doesn't work, fine. I think West vs. Backlog that's kind of a staple because that's an evergreen show. Mm-hmm. I could make those forever. Like that is basically a quick look or a small hour-long let's play, yay, hooray. Basically, it's a one-man power hour. When I thought about it in my mind, I was like, okay, something that it's not, I don't have to be like, oh, Marco, you have to cancel all your plans because our power hour is going to happen on this day. Like, that shit don't fly no more. We're not the same age we were, 5-6 years ago when we were doing that shit. Like, we got stuff to do now. So I'm like, okay, one-man show, but I don't want to step on the toes of what we have with the power hour in case our schedules come back and we can nail it, Yeah. But then it's like, okay, power hour is going to work great on Twitch because it already has. West vs. Backlog works great on Twitch because, like you said, Todd, it's a slightly longer form stuff.
Yeah.
Let's Plays are great for Twitch, oddly enough, because you could just film each episode live and then archive it.
Yep.
And be like, here's the highlight of episode 4. That's what I'm doing with Final Fantasy IX. Just the days that I stream it, we'll stream for 2 hours, and hey, there's 2 hours knocked off of the Let's Play.
Yep.
It's easy. Like, that's a great way to do it. Just different ways of thinking about the content, and I know it's something that all three of us do pretty regularly. We have those like round tables, like, is this a good idea?
Right.
Like navel gazing type stuff.
It's fun because like whenever the whole like, is this a good idea comes across my way, and I'm just like, that's a horrible idea. Let me do that.
Right? You go the other direction. You're like, wait a minute. No one wants to see this. Let me try it.
Yeah. I mean, nobody wanted to see like Hunter the Reckoning before. Nobody wanted to see. Right. I mean, arguably, you could say Vampire had a thing. Mm-hmm. But I mean, nobody was streaming it, and I was just like, I'm gonna stream Vampire the Masquerade. Fuck it. And now every time I go on Twitch, there's like 4 or 5 people streaming it, and it's terrific.
Yeah, and it's always fun to be a tastemaker. Like whenever you have the idea to do a thing, and it's like, I think I was the only one on Earth streaming MotorStorm 3D Rift. Who the fuck plays MotorStorm 3? Like, you know what I mean?
You were the number one MotorStorm.
I was the best in the world, guys. Number one right here, baby. You're looking at him. The number one original Jet Moto player on Twitch. This guy.
Yeah. I mean, I think I hit number 1 in the Bejeweled 3 category once.
You know what I'm saying? You got to take those where they come, man. Like, I'm the number one. It's so funny. I know for a fact that Marco was number 1 on Yakuza because we took all those screenshots. Yeah. And it was funny because there were some of those that was no small feat. like, because there were a lot of people playing like a Yakuza game, or but you were still top of the heap. There was one time you had like, what was it? Shit, it was close to 20 something people.
Jeez.
Yeah, I think it was around Yakuza 5.
Yes.
It was basically they carry you driving the taxi.
The taxi missions, and everyone was joining it. That was because I was moderating the chat, and I was like, this is madness. It's madness. But it's always fun because you get that little sense of like, oh, there's a lot of people in my chat right now. What's going on? And then it kind of goes a little bit off the rails, and then it comes like trying to bring it back in, and that struggle is fun. Yeah, it's good. But I'm happy because I'm finally at that place on Twitch and stuff to where it's like, if it's Marco, if it's Todd, if it's Vamp, if it's like Crunch, if it's like 2 or 5 regulars, if Maury shows up, I'm stoked. Like, give me my 6 people, and then that's all. I don't need anything else. I just want my 6. Anyone bonus, anyone that wants to follow, God bless you. We'll have a lot of fun. But like, I basically just want to make content for you guys to have content to watch when you're not making content. Like,
especially if we're being sneaky and lurking in the channel and not even saying we're there, which is the best.
Oh yeah, I do that a lot. And here's the thing, people don't realize that. I do it a lot where I'll even log off of Twitch entirely. So it won't show my name on the radar, it won't show anything. I do that shit.
Nice.
And then people will be like, "Oh, I have a viewer," but it's not.
See anybody.
Yeah, it's like, that's weird. It shows I have 4 or 5 viewers, but I only have 3 people in chat. I wonder what's gonna. It's this guy right here.
Yep.
I do it on purpose too. I do it because I want people to be.
Shit.
I do it on purpose because I don't want people to be like, "Oh, hey."
I mean, some of us are better at it than others. Where it's like, there's been times I've been streaming and I'll see your name pop in my chat, and I'll just kind of like give a little head nod, and I'm like, okay. And I'm just like,
you give a little too sweet.
Get a little Shibata.
I don't acknowledge it or anything like that. Just I see it and I'm like, okay, and I just go about my shit, because if you're lurking, and this is, we've given this advice thousands of times.
Yeah.
If there's people in your chat that are just hanging out, not saying shit, don't fucking call them out.
Yes. Oh my God. That's the best way to run people off.
Yep.
Is to have a fucking dumb chatbot that says like, "Well, welcome to Todd EVF. Their first time he ever went on the stream was February 9th, 2018.
First time, one time, whack, whack. Just...
Yeah, hey, bits are flying everywhere because here's Todd EVF. And you're like, oh, for fuck's sake. Yeah. Like, I don't need a pomp and circumstance entrance. Like, let me just chill out and watch what's going on.
If I wanted to come in and make it rain like Okada, I would have made it rain like Okada.
Exactly.
Don't do it for me.
Right. Don't be like, welcome to the chat. And then calling, like, I don't mind being like, big shout out to the lurkers.
Yeah.
That's it, because you stay quiet. But calling them out by name and being like, "Oh, Todd, I see you in chat. You're just lurking there." Well, and you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, fucking guys, why are you doing this? You're ruining my quiet time.
It'd be like if you were local celebrity and you went to like Walmart, and then it's like, "Aren't you the guy from the?" And you're like, "Oh."
Good example of this is not this past weekend, but the weekend before. My job, which has me in like maybe 2 times a month, which is bullshit. But they had me in that Saturday.
Yeah.
Well, it just so happens that Saturday there was a show at the local Coliseum, a WWE show.
Yeah.
And Mr. Matthew Hardy came into the shop. And just recognized, kind of gave the head nod, and everything like that. He looks, sees his shirt on the wall, that kind of thing, hangs out for a little bit, kind of walks out. Then somebody comes in and goes, "Did you realize that Matt Hardy was just in the store?" And I just kind of shake my head, yeah. Like, I wasn't going to call him out and be like, "Oh shit, it's fucking Matt Hardy." Like,
right.
And the 2 girls I'm working with are just like, "What?" And they started marking out like like you wouldn't believe. And I'm the wrestling guy that works there.
Right. Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
But it was just one of those little situations where it's like, I'm like, yeah, that was him. Just like, he looked very familiar. I'm like, his face is on the shirt that we have on the wall right over there. Like
that guy. Yeah.
Did he look like this? Yeah, that was him.
That was
him. That's like meeting celebrities. I always have that vibe about like just walk up to him and be like, hey, big fan. Fan.
Yeah. Like what you do. Congrats.
Yeah.
Keep
up the great work.
Yeah. Don't like with Matt, you don't walk up to him and go, I see you're here to delete some of these sales we got going.
Like, fucking hell.
I knew you'd come.
The real best, and it's what happened whenever I met Dolph Ziggler, was I was wearing the pink, like it's not showing off if you can back it up.
Yeah.
And like walking into In-N-Out Burger after a Raw taping in Dallas, and I was like, and then I grab my bag, and I walk back, and I hear someone go, "Hey man, nice shirt." I turn around, and it's Dolph fucking Ziggler. I was like, "Ah!" Like, because he saw I was wearing his fucking shirt, and I was like, "Oh, dude." I was like, dude, you guys had a great show. And it was him and Christian and The Miz. And The Miz did a disgusted eye roll.
Yeah.
And I was like, that guy's an asshole. And then, but then Christian, I was like, good man. I was like, you need to be in the Hall of Fame. And then Dolph Ziggler was like, what about me? And I was like, you'll get there.
You get there one day.
You'll be there.
Christian does need to be in the Hall of Fame.
I totally agree. Oh, no question.
I mean, especially with them using TNA footage. I mean, they can now recognize that he's a former NWA world champion.
Yeah, absolutely. But yeah, it's always fun to like get that back and forth, even if it is just the head nod, or like that story about us meeting, working at GameStop, and then late at night while we were closing, My Chemical Romance come off their tour bus.
Oh, those guys are assholes.
Yeah. I will say the drummer and the bass player, this is right when the Wii came out. So it was, what was it, Twilight Princess?
Mm-hmm.
Yes, Twilight Princess, because we talked about the fishing with the Wiimote in Twilight Princess. And the main singer, the lead singer, is very short.
Yeah.
He's very short. This was during his, the My Chemical Romance, where they had the white hair. He had the white hair and like what was it like? What was it like? Bullet for My Valentine, or I can't remember what the big hit was, where they're in the church and there's like a coffin and like, but these emo angsty shit. Is that? And of course, my coworker was this 19-year-old college student, and she flipped out. She was in the back room. I had got a call from their tour manager, or whoever was head of the bus, and I was like, okay, so I'm so-and-so, and I'm one of the people with My Chemical Romance. Is it okay if we actually come into your establishment? What are your hours? And I was like, well, we close in like 10 minutes. And they're like, well, could you do us a favor and keep the doors open a little bit just to be able to let us in and have a shop for a bit? And I was like, yeah, let me call my manager, because you have to clear that stuff with district.
Yeah.
And be like, okay, let me jot this down. I will call you right back, I promise. Called. I was like, yeah, so the celebs want to come in for a little bit. Is that okay? And he was like, yeah, keep the lights open, because they have to like contact security for the building and let them know, okay, they're going to be open later and all that stuff. So call them back, and I was like, yeah, come on in. So they're on their bus, and it's an unmarked bus. It's not like it's a tour bus, but it's like a big one of those tourism buses. So then they walk in, and then I shut the gate. We're at GameStop, so I shut the little gate and like lock the door and stuff like that. And then as we're shopping, people are coming up to the door and like, oh, you guys not open? What up? Blah, 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 blah. And doing all that shit, and then like walking away. But then people started coming up, not because they wanted in the store, but because they recognized who was in the store. And then it was one of those other situations. I was like, fuck. So then as they're still shopping and looking at stuff for the Wii, because they had a few systems on the tour bus, I have to call security. And I'm like, they may need some assistance to get out of here. So here comes Mall Cop on his little like little Vespa, like driving down the lane with Paul Blart Mall Cop, and like coming down, and because we're in a shopping center, we're a brick and mortar store, so big. We're outside of a Walmart, so big 24-hour shopping center thing. So it's like, okay, we're gonna need to block off a walkway for these guys to go back to their bus and not get bombarded. And I was like, not my fucking job. Like, God bless, get the cops out here. Yeah. So they all show up, but yeah, it was great to be able to just talk to them instead of being like, oh, I'm a huge fan, blah blah blah. It was more like, video games are cool, you know, and just talk about just fishing in Zelda and using the Wiimote and doing, like, that's a cooler memory than like, I took a weird selfie where it was a forced smile and I had them sign my socks. And you're like, all right.
I mean, I have one experience with My Chemical Romance, and that was their last show before like before they got signed.
Yeah.
They get on stage. It was like a pretty decent sized venue in Montclair, New Jersey, and they get on stage, and the singer fucking just says, "This is the last time you guys are going to be paying $15 to see us. From now on, expect to pay $50 to $70 to see us live." Just being a total asshole. And it was just like, and I had gone there because it was a place that I hung out with people, you know, people were just like, oh, there's a show. And I'm like, oh, go. Who's playing? Sure. And they're like, oh, this band, and My Chemical Romance. I'm like, I could give a shit less. I'll just hang out with you guys. But
right. Yeah.
And I heard that and I'm just like, oh,
well, we got a badass over here.
Little fucking 3'2" fucking guy, dude, and shit.
He's super short. And then the drummer's 6'4". I'm like, okay, yeah, weird memories like that. But yeah, that's an episode of Broken Around. If I've heard it myself, that's what that is. But yeah, thanks for hanging out, guys. So, the way this will work is, of course, if you're listening on iTunes and all that, if you're listening on the audio stuff, we appreciate you. Listen on that Google Play Store. And I think we got Stitcher. Did we get Stitcher? I need to get on Stitcher.
I believe we're on Stitcher.
Yeah, we're on a bunch of stuff.
I know we need to get on Radio Public, which will have the episode up like fucking as soon as the RSS updates.
It has it after I hit the save button. They somehow have it. I'm like, I didn't upload it. Oh my god.
Yeah.
They just have it. They're like, we have it, Sarah. Thank you. It's the Facebook special is what they call that. And
if you want to hear about the Facebook special, audibletrial.com/brotheringaround. Get yourself a free audiobook on the house. No commitments, none of that.
None of that, man. And be sure to download one about cybersecurity, so all that shit stays private.
Or you can always get do Android's Dream of Electric Sheep, but you can do that because Leon just had a birthday.
Yeah.
The good old Nexus 6 incept date of April 10.
And they live for 4 years, right? So he's good for.
Yep. He's got a couple more years left in him.
That's right. But yeah, that's our show. And if you're hanging out on Twitch, which you should be, twitch.tv/Precipice Podcast, we love you. Thanks for hanging out. That's usually where the main video is going to be. And then YouTube usually the day after. We're doing exclusive rights on that Precipice Podcast. We love being part of that network. But guys, I'm Wes Gardner, Comedy Hobo. That's Mr. Marco Flores, Nerd in the Bay. That is that's Suzuki drinking some delicious Smirnoff. Todd EVF as played by Suzuki.
Minoru Suzuki, the fucking madman of fucking Suzuki. Gonna love it.
And Maury didn't join us this time, but she's always with us. You know how it is. And I will say, we talked about the backstage photos. Best backstage photos from WrestleMania definitely came from Kikutaru. He's met with everybody, and fantastic. But that's our time. This has been Brothering Around, episode number 53? One of those things. But that is it for us, guys. We will see you next time here on Brothering Around. Peace.